Hello all, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Atara and Wariam, for those who know, and thank you so much for just being back here and supporting this channel. And if you haven't done so just yet, please make sure that you hit that notification button, you hit that subscribe button, so every time that I post a new video, it comes straight to you and you get to see it and you get the notification free. You're the first one to be here. Anyway, so obviously I posted my introduction about, I don't know, maybe like 2 months ago, and I was just waiting to be ready before I can do my video, before I can start this YouTube page, because I know this is faith-based and I wanted to be ready from a faith perspective. So then I just didn't want to be rushed into it and so let's get started. So obviously, as you've seen from the title of my video today, is waiting till I got married before having sex, marrying a virgin. And this is something that is it's a taboo. This is something that not a lot of people talk about. And I just wanted to talk about it because I definitely remember being that girl, it's cold in the Northwest. So if I'm just doing this with my nose, it's really cold here. So I remember being that girl in the midst of women, girls, even when I got inside the church, even when I became a born-again Christian, where I was still afraid to speak about my virginity because it was embarrassing. Society taught me that it was embarrassing to speak about your virginity. Society taught me that it wasn't cool. If you hadn't lost it, that wasn't cool. So to me, I just shied away from it. Never wanted to talk about it. I just felt like it was one of those subjects where it was embarrassing, because sometimes I'd get people asking me questions like, why are you still a virgin at this age? What is your problem? What's wrong with you? Is no man ever approached you? In fact, I even had a couple of men who said they would do me the favor of, going down there and, getting the V taken away from me if I wanted to, and I kindly rejected their offer, and I'm glad I did. So firstly, a quick disclaimer: this video is not for anyone who is going to find this material offensive. This video is not to show young people, young women that they need to go out there and have sex. This video is not for you. If you're browsing through YouTube and you're looking for how to lose your virginity and you're not married, I am a strong advocate for, sex in marriage. So I want to keep promoting that. So this video is not for anyone who, who's got them thoughts for it. But, if you have and you still want to watch it because you want to compare your feelings and your thought, then fine, go forward. So I'll give you a little bit of my background and my history and how I grew up and why I decided basically to keep my virginity. So basically, I'm Congolese. I grew up, with my grandma because my mother was an air hostess and she traveled a lot. So my grandma, took care of me, my mom's mom. She took care of me a lot. And she was a woman of faith. She was a woman of prayer. She used to pray. She used to, encourage us. She taught me prayer. She taught me that, she used to take me to church and stuff like that. She just used to encourage me. And she was a lot into music, drama as well. So that's where I get that kind of aspect as well from her. So I remember just being 8 years old and my grandma sitting me down and saying, that I don't even know why she said it, because I was 8 years old, and she said to me, that, I think it's going, don't be going exploiting yourself, trying, different things out there. I think it's best for you to wait till marriage before you could, become intimate with a man, before you could have sex with a man. And as an 8-year-old, you don't really understand that because you just think, You don't even know what intimacy is. You don't even know what sex is at the age of 8. So never mind. So we left my grandma and we moved to the UK. When my mum finished her aerostessing career, we then moved to the UK. And I just remember at the age of 13 making just saying to myself that I'm gonna just remain a virgin, till I get married. I'm not going to have sex. And then I made a covenant with God in my mother's bedroom at the age of 13 as well. When we moved into our new house, I made a covenant with God, and I just said, God, I'm going to remain a virgin, until I really get married, and I wear my white gown. I was specific about it. Till I wear my white gown. So then I made that covenant and I went about it. One thing I would say that as well, that during my childhood, I did encounter a lot of molestation, which is a story for a different time. I did go through a lot of molestation. I did go through almost being raped a couple of times, which I will go to speak about on a different video because this is not about that. But, and I think that kind of made me a little bit sensitive to the subject as well, of sex. I was curious of it. I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like I wasn't curious about, having sex, but because I made a promise to God, and I am the type of person where if I make a promise, especially to the high being, I really, really try to keep it. So I really, really tried all my best to keep it. And going fast forward, obviously you start life, you start encountering men, boys, whatever. I got boyfriends, I got into relationship, and most of the time, the reason why I was, dumped, or the reason why the relationship failed, because there was no sex. Let's be real, because, nowadays in the church, you could be Christians, but there is a lot of Christians out there still, practicing fornication. There is a lot of Christians out there who is still having sex. So I would just remember specifically with one boyfriend, when he found out that I was virgin, he just his mind was just focused on sleeping with me. Like, he would invite me to his house, he would invite me to his home, and I was just like, no, till the relationship obviously broke down. So people just didn't understand it. People didn't get it, why she doesn't want to give it up, why she doesn't want to have sex and all this kind of stuff. And then I was just like, it just wasn't in my interest. I already knew the background where I was coming from, and it was not great. So the last thing that I needed was to start having sex, to get myself in a very sticky situation where I'm left by myself, and I kind of just ruin my life. So I was very specific in what I wanted. Fast forward 2015. So 2015 was where I finished my university degree. I finished my university degree in 2015, and I finished that. Then I started to feel this pressure within me, and this pressure was I started to get these attacks where I was just feeling molested. I was feeling loads of different things, and just thoughts was coming to my mind and all this kind of stuff. And then I just started to feel weird within myself. I started to be scared of men again. I started to be, I just started to feel really, really weird. So when I finished my graduate degree in 2015, then I went to my pastor back then, and I put some money in an envelope, and I went to see him, and I said, well, this is my situation. I'm a virgin. I want to seal my virginity with an offering as part of God's protection towards me. I want God to protect me. And obviously we know that God doesn't break his part of the covenants. If anyone is going to ever break it, it's ever us. It's never God, because God is faithful. So I said to him, I said, this is what I want to do. I want God to help me to keep my virginity until I get married. And then he was crying. My pastor saw it and he was like, wow, it's been a very long time since I've seen something like this. It's been a long time since I've encountered a young woman who's wanted to do this. And then I went to his office. Like I said before, I don't know why I keep going back to the story, but he took me to a different office where it was like, much more of a bigger place. We knelt down, we prayed and held hands together and sealed that, what's it called, covenant with an offering. We sealed it with the blood of Jesus, and then I went on with my life. After that, I then obviously got into relationships, which those relationships broke, and and then, like I said to you before, mentioned before, that it was primarily based on the fact that I did not want to have sex with these men. And even though, because sometimes when you get into a relationship with someone and you put these boundaries and you just think, well, it's only for now, but after that, she might loosen it up a little bit, so we'll get to do all these things. So when these men were actually saying that I didn't want to loosen it up and those things wasn't happening, obviously the relationship broke down. So then came past that, obviously I met someone, and then now I'm married. Then obviously I had sex for the first time in marriage. And the reason why I wanted to tell this, and I'm so glad that I waited. I'm so glad that I waited to kind of have sex in marriage. I waited to fully be intimate with somebody who's my husband. So my husband is the first person that I've ever been intimate with. So the reason why I wanted to come forward and tell this story, this little encouragement, was because I know that growing up in the society of today, the norm is right, where if you've got quite a few sexual partners, it's right. And sometimes when you're a virgin, and sometimes, or when you're celibate, and it's like it's not cool. Yeah, you just feel like it's not cool, it's not nice. Like I want to be able, I can't really join in certain things. Like I can't be friends with these cool kids. You don't need to be friends with those cool people and with those cool kids. You can carry on being you, because sometimes it's not about going with the majority, but it's about going with the minority. And you will find that often we are in God when we're in the minority, in the society's eyes, in the society's view or point of view. But in God is always like a majority, if you think about it. So doing the God's will it's not easy. It's not an easy thing. Keeping yourself is not an easy thing. And I started to embrace myself when a sister told me, and she said, and we were sharing a story, and at that time I was quite new to the church. And then a sister told me, she's like, we started talking a little bit about, it kind of, the taboo topic in the church, which is sex. And I was like, I'm a virgin and, I've not had sex yet. And she wasn't. And she was like, so I have been intimate with a man before. And then she was like, whoa, like, sis, you need to literally cherish that gift that you've got. You need to cherish what you have, because, it's not a lot of people that can do it, and I wish. And she started telling me about her regrets and stuff like that. So that's when I was like, it clicked in my mind, and I was like, wow, like, why should I be ashamed of what I am? Why should that be a topic of taboo? Why should that be something that I shouldn't, cherish, that I have, being able to walk through this journey, and being able, by God's grace, is being able to maintain myself and to keep myself, celibate, and to keep myself a virgin. So that's when I started really to be like, wow. So that's why every time a man came and the relationship was breaking down, I always said things such as like, it's either him or God. And because I know that I'm always going to choose God in any situation, I made sure that I picked God. I made sure that if that man wanted to go because he didn't like the fact that, that me and him wasn't going to be intimate, fine, you can go and find someone else. And then I went back to God and then I cried and I said, God, well, when are you going to give me someone who is my shoe size, my fit, someone who someone who belongs to me, that, who is going to accept me the way that he's going to accept me, the way that I am, so then I don't have to go through these things that I'm going. And eventually God did. One thing I've realized is that God is so faithful. And God is so gracious, God is so merciful, especially when we keep our covenants to Him, when we keep His commandments and His words. God is able to bless us exceedingly above and beyond what we could ever imagine or expect. So I just want to encourage someone today with this message. Like, sometimes the pressure kicks in and, you might be a young woman, like, you're not married yet. You might be a man. You might be celibate in the journey of celibacy. You might be even a virgin and you just think, I'm tired of this. And I just want to, get it out and done with. And you start to think about loads of different options in your head, because that started to happen to me, where I started to think about loads of different options. What do I do with time is passing by? Do I just go and have a baby whilst all my friends are getting married, blah, blah. But God rewards those who wait on Him differently. So just keep on praying, just keep on maturing in Christ, and keep the word and the commandment of God, and God will surely make everything beautiful in His time. And the thing is that when God starts to manifest Himself, and when the time is correct, no one can stop Him. And when the time of God has come for Him to manifest His glory upon your life in any area at all, even the disadvantages become even the obstacles, become an advantage. Even the disadvantages become an advantage. So I just wanted to encourage anyone today who might be struggling, not just in maybe this topic. This is something that obviously is my testimony, but might be struggling in, maybe abuse or anything like that, maybe substance abuse, maybe any type of form of abuse, and, maybe lust or anything like that. Just remember the cross and just remember what God did for you on the cross, where He said all is accomplished. So I don't want to waffle too much. So thank you so much for everyone for listening to this video. If you liked it and you want to listen to more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. So next time when I come on, you get to be the first person to hear from me. So thank you so much once again, and I'll speak to you guys later. See you. Bye-bye.